This is Adam Jr. with Systematic Front, and this is going to be a look at how to use motion cross in Madden NFL Mobile. Motion cross really is a powerful play in this game. It is great in either head-to-head or LVL, and does pretty well against 4-3s, and especially does well against 3-4s. In addition to that, in breaking down this play, it's really going to unwrap some of the more complex and lesser known gameplay mechanics of this game, so let's go ahead and get into it. So first let's look at a 4-3 defense. Motion cross, what's really special about it is you can actually tell whether you're playing a man or a zone defense before you ever snap the ball. So that's going to help out tremendously in making your reads. What you're going to do is before you snap the ball, go ahead and press that playbook looking icon above the snap button. And then you're going to snap the ball from that view. From there you're going to watch wide receiver 2 and the cornerback 2. As wide receiver 2 goes in motion, watch how the cornerback 2 guards him. If he does like a subtle side shuffle to follow wide receiver 2, that's going to be a zone coverage, and either wide receiver 2 or the halfback are going to be open once they're at the right side of the field. If cornerback 2 turns his hip and runs directly with cornerback or with the wide receiver 2, then that's going to be a man coverage, and then your slot receiver is going to be open after he makes his break. What's great about this is that since the primary reads are on opposite sides of the field, by knowing where the ball is going to go before you snap it, you know ahead of time where you need to position the quarterback in order to put yourself in the best position to make the throw. So first let's look at a zone coverage. So first you're going to zoom out and then snap the ball. The cornerback 2 is going to side shuffle. Now if you see a medium zone coverage, then what I like to do is wait for whoever's in the medium zone to bite down on the halfback route, and as soon as you see that, then go ahead and just sort of a lob pass to the wide receiver 2, just enough to give it over that medium zone coverage so it's not intercepted. If there's a deep zone coverage, you can still get it to the wide receiver 2, but it's a little bit tighter of a throw. So instead I'll go ahead and throw it to the halfback instead once he breaks off into his route. And then it's a very safe completion. You have a blocker in front and might even be able to get a few more yards out of it. When you read man coverage before the snap, first of all, make sure that the defensive end on the quarterback's left is locked up. Once you do that, then wait for the slot receiver to make his break, and then zip the ball to him so he can catch it in stride. A lot of times when this play is being run from the right hash mark, the slot receiver, if he catches it in stride, he'll actually be able to bring it for a touchdown. Against the 3-4, you're going to follow the same basic concepts. If you read a zone coverage before the snap, then you're going to roll to the right and you'll have your choice between either the halfback or wide receiver 2. More than likely, though, against the 3-4, you're going to be seeing man coverage, and that's really what makes motion cross so strong against 3-4s, is because as long as he has the space and you're hitting him in stride, this will really go for a touchdown a pretty high percentage of the time. Next, there's dime formation. If you read a zone coverage against dime formation, it's going to be a little bit tricky. You can hit either wide receiver 2 or the halfback, but because you are likely in a third and fourth and long situation when you're seeing dime, it may force you to make that risky throw to wide receiver 2. Most of the time against dime formation, however, you're going to be seeing man coverage, and that's perfect because it gives you that really great route to the slot. It's a minimum of 15 yards, so 3rd and 15, 4th and 15. I mean, it's pretty much a guarantee that you'll convert, and then there's serious potential for yards after the catch as well. So motion cross is a great play for when you're in 3rd or 4th and long. Finally, there's nickel formation. Nickel formation is the counter formation for motion cross, but luckily motion cross is very good against counters. You still want to zoom out before you snap the ball because if it's not countered, you might see man coverage and then you're still going to be hitting the slot receiver. Otherwise, against counters, and sometimes very, very, very rarely, it will be uncountered and you'll see zone coverage, but that's rare and it plays the same as the counters, so I'm just going to go over that. So against lower medium severity counters, you're going to read the zone coverage and then you're going to roll out to the right. And this is where it gets a little bit interesting. You'll notice that sometimes you'll see that medium zone coverage and you can either hit the halfback or the wide receiver too. In other cases, though, it'll be countered and you'll read the zone coverage, but then on the other side, it'll be a deep zone coverage and you'll actually be able to hit the wide receiver too in that case. What's very interesting about this, though, is that it's always been conventional wisdom that there's one assigned defensive play to be the counter of every offensive play. And that's why there's a such thing as a countered formation with nickel, because the assigned play happened to be nickel formation. But here there's clearly two different plays, and both of them, happen to be nickel formation. Knowing what causes it isn't as important as just knowing to expect it, though. So you'll see the same thing against critical counters, where if you have a critical counter and then a medium zone coverage, a lot of times the halfback will still pick up the block and you'll have enough time to roll out and try to make a throw, but again, it's just going to be a little bit tighter of coverage. If it is a critical counter against the deep zone coverage, then if you have time to roll out, you'll be able to hit the wide receiver too for a pretty good gain, which is pretty awesome. Sometimes, though, you'll either have the halfback get blown up on his block, or wide receiver 2 will get shoved, which will throw off the timing of the throw that you're trying to make. A way that you can get around this, though, is if your scramble button is still active, you can use that to just buy the extra time that you need for wide receiver 2 to get back on course and for you to make the throw that you need to do. There still will be sometimes, though, that there's just nothing you can do to avoid a sack. But if you really want to be creative against critical counters from this deep zone coverage, you can hit the scramble button and run it for like 10 to 15 yards, which is pretty cool too. So that's my breakdown on how to use motion cross. If you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. But I hope that this helps. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great day. Thanks.